David pays for a silly mistake. Coronation Street soap scoop. Another new character arrives. Coronation Street spoilers follow. Coronation Street's David Platt drops a clanger next week that angers his wife Shona and could reignite his feud with Kit. Green. What should be a cozy wedding anniversary? Meal for David and Shona turns into an uncomfortable evening when they wind up on a double date with David's sister Sarah and her current partner Kit, where old wounds are reopened and relationships are tested. If you were to pick the most romantic person on the street, you probably wouldn't say David Platt begins our Corey Insider. To be fair, he does try and do something nice for Shona on their special day. Unfortunately, it backfires, and he ends up causing a big family drama. It's been 6 years since David and Shona tied the knot. The ceremony wasn't without its stresses, as the groom had only just been released from prison after conning grandmother Audrey Roberts out of her cash, and made it to the ceremony with seconds to spare. As a prank to his other half, David pretends he's only bought her a 6-pack of lager as an anniversary gift. Before she can tear a strip off her hubby, Shona is assured he's only winding her up and has booked a meal for 2 later on at the bistro, the scene of their nuptials back in 2019. Chuffed, Shona gets her glad rags on and heads over to the eatery with her other half, ready to be wined non-alcoholic, of course, as she's preggers, and dined. The excited couple arrive, only to be dealt a blow to their plans that leaves David decidedly red-faced. It turns out David has accidentally booked the meal for the wrong day, our spy continues. They have got a table for 2 only for the day after their anniversary. However, there is a potential solution that means they could still have their evening together, as long as they don't mind a bit of company. Sarah and Kit also happen to be having dinner out at the bistro, so it's suggested the 2 couples chum up and share a table. It's hardly an ideal solution considering Shona's history with Kit, who she had a drunken one-night stand with last year. David and Kit have tried to bury the hatchet, but the boys are hardly best buddies, and Sarah knows her sibling has struggled with her choice of fella. In the turbulent world of Coronation Street, romance is rarely simple, and for David Platt, even the best of intentions have a knack for spiraling into pure, unadulterated chaos. Next week, the soap is set to deliver a masterclass in comedic cringe and simmering drama as David's attempt at a romantic wedding anniversary celebration backfires spectacularly, forcing him and his wife Shona into a painfully awkward double date with the one couple guaranteed to reopen old wounds: his sister Sarah and her partner, the brooding Kit Green. The episode promises to explore the fragile truces and lingering resentments that define modern family life on the cobbles, proving that in Weatherfield, the past is never truly buried. It's just waiting for the wrong reservation at the bistro to bring it all bubbling to the surface. The trouble begins with a gesture of love, albeit one, delivered with David's trademark sardonic flair. Celebrating 6 years since their hastily arranged 2019 wedding, a ceremony David almost missed after being released from prison just in time, the Platt husband decides to mark the occasion. True to his character, his idea of romance involves a prank. He presents Shona with a 6-pack of lager as an anniversary gift. As a source from the show Riley notes, if you were to pick the most romantic person on the street, you probably wouldn't say David Platt. To be fair, he does try and do something nice for Shona on their special day. Unfortunately, it backfires, and he ends up causing a big family drama. After swiftly assuring a momentarily unimpressed Shona that he is, in fact, joking, David reveals his real plan: a romantic, private meal for 2 at the bistro, the very location where they exchanged vows. A thrilled Shona, who is currently pregnant, gets dressed up for a night of being wined, with non-alcoholic options, of course, and dined. The stage is set for a perfect evening. However, in a classic Platt twist of fate, their plans disintegrate the moment they arrive at the restaurant. The crushing blow is delivered with bureaucratic finality. David has booked the table for the wrong night. They have got a table for 2 only for the day after their anniversary, reveals our insider. The image of a dressed-up, expectant Shona and a red-faced David standing in the doorway of a fully booked bistro is one of sublime soap tragedy. His well-meaning effort has resulted in public humiliation and a deeply disappointed wife. Just as the evening seems lost, a potential solution emerges, though it's one fraught with its own perils. Also dining at the bistro are Sarah Platt and her current beau, Kit Green. In a move born of desperation, it's suggested that the two couples join forces and share a table. What could possibly go wrong? The answer, for anyone familiar with the recent history of these four, is everything. This proposed double date is a minefield of past transgressions and fragile egos. The most explosive element is the shared history between Shona and Kit. Last year, in a moment of drunken confusion and vulnerability, Shona and Kit shared a one-night stand. The discovery of this betrayal shattered David and sent shockwaves through his marriage, which was already under immense strain. While David and Kit have since attempted a tense, surface-level truce for the sake of Sarah and the wider family dynamic, they are far from friends. Their interactions are laced with a palpable undercurrent of hostility and mutual distrust. David has never fully come to terms with his wife's infidelity, and being forced to break bread with the man at the center of that betrayal is his worst nightmare realized. Furthermore, David has been openly critical of Sarah's decision to pursue a relationship with Kit, viewing him as untrustworthy and a walking reminder of his own marital pain. Sarah, for her part, is acutely aware of her brother's feelings, and having the two most important men in her life trapped at the same table is a recipe for intense discomfort. The scene is set for an evening of passive-aggressive comments, strained small talk, and lingering accusatory glances. Shona will be caught between her remorseful past and her hopeful future, forced to sit across from a man who represents a major mistake. David will be battling his instinctive anger and jealousy, all while trying to salvage what's left of his anniversary. Sarah will be playing the uneasy peacemaker, and Kit will be squirming under the weight of the collective judgment. This double-date disaster is more than just a comedic misunderstanding. It's a narrative catalyst. By forcing these four characters into such an intimate and pressurized setting, Coronation Street is poised to reignite the smoldering embers of David and Kit's feud. It will test the resilience of David and Shona's hard-won reconciliation and challenge the stability of Sarah and Kit's relatively new relationship. One silly mistake over a dinner booking is all it takes to threaten the delicate peace on the cobbles, proving that when it comes to the Platts, every anniversary is a potential anniversary of disaster.